Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever wondered what a nation of over a billion people looks like if you just hit pause and completely freeze it in a random 48-hour window? Well, welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to look at a truly fascinating snapshot of India. We'll be examining a string of recent, seemingly completely unrelated events that perfectly capture a country literally sprinting towards the future while simultaneously working incredibly hard to preserve its ancient past. It's this super delicate, everyday balancing act between progress and preservation. And honestly, looking closely at the news from just these past 48 hours gives us an absolute masterclass in how complex and how beautiful that balance really is. So, to truly understand the sheer scale of modern India, we have to start with a number. Just picture the massive administrative machinery required to run a rapidly growing economy of this size day in and day out. Think about the digital infrastructure going on behind the scenes. Now, I want you to try and guess. How many tax returns do you think a country can process in a record-breaking rush well before the actual deadline even hits? Yep, 1.7 crore, or 17 million income tax returns. That is a jaw-dropping figure that's making headlines right now. And guys, this isn't just a big number, it is a massive, real-time indicator of the speed, the incredible scale, and the advanced digitization of India's modern systems. I mean, when 17 million filings happen in an early rush like this, it shows a highly mobilized, incredibly fast-paced economy operating at peak efficiency. It's like a perfectly synced machine. But as we're going to see, that breakneck speed, it's really only half the story of these 48 hours.
So here is our agenda for today's Explainer. First, nature and national heritage. Second, celebrating icons and artisans. And third, economy, health, and governance. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. Nature and National Heritage. Preserving India's natural and historical treasures. All right, I want to test your geography for a second to really set the scene here. If you follow environmental news, you might have heard this specific name popping up lately. Do you know exactly where the Sharavati lion-tailed macaque sanctuary is located? If you guessed Karnataka's Shivamoga district, deep within the lush, highly biodiverse Western Ghats, you are spot on. This specific geographic location is absolutely crucial to understand because it's making major headlines right now thanks to a really fascinating story about environmental preservation fighting back against modern infrastructure. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how this sanctuary actually came to be. It wasn't always just one unified, heavily protected zone. It was formed by a strategic, deliberate merger of three separate areas: the Sharavati Valley Wildlife Sanctuary, the Aghanashani Lion-tailed Macaque Conservation Reserve, and the adjoining reserve forest. By actively linking these distinct zones together, authorities basically built a geographical fortress for nature, a massive protective area specifically designed for the endangered lion-tailed macaques. And here is the kicker, the real so what of the story. An expert committee of the Ministry of Environment, Forest, and Climate Change has officially recommended against a massive proposed 2,000-megawatt Sharavati pump storage project. Why did they halt such a huge energy initiative? Specifically because of its likely negative impact on this very sanctuary. Think about the sheer scale of that decision. This is the ultimate example of our theme today: progress in the form of a major 2,000-megawatt power project needed for a growing economy, literally stepping aside to ensure the ecological preservation of these macaques. It is a massive, massive win for conservation. But hey, it's not just natural heritage being preserved out there. It's historical heritage, too. Take a look at this update from Maharashtra. The state government just officially sanctioned 1 crore rupees specifically for the first phase of a memorial dedicated to Veer Shivaji Mahale. And where exactly is it being built? Right at the foothills of the Pratapgarh Fort. This is a 17th century hill fort sitting at a staggering altitude of 1,080 meters in the Satara district. Funding a memorial at a site with such immense altitude and rich history, it's a highly dedicated physical effort to keep these historical narratives completely preserved for future generations. Moving on to Section 2, celebrating icons and artisans, honoring the voices and hands of Indian culture. So let's shift gears a bit. We recently lost a true titan of Indian art, prompting this huge outpouring of national remembrance and deep reflection. Let me ask you this to see if you know your music history. Who was widely and very fondly revered across the country as the Nightingale of South India? Hold on, before I even say her name, I want you to just absorb this number. 48,000. Actually, scratch that. It's almost impossible to fully grasp. That is the staggering, almost unbelievable number of songs she successfully recorded over her legendary career. Just imagine the sheer dedication required to sing and record 48,000 unique tracks in nearly 20 different Indian languages. It is a volume of artistic output that is genuinely mind-blowing. It is, of course, the legendary playback singer S. Janaki. She recently passed away at the age of 88 due to age-related health complications. Her remarkable career spanned an incredible 6 decades, running smoothly from 1957 all the way to 2017. She made her initial playback debut in the Tamil film Vidyan Vilayathu and went on to become one of the most iconic, recognizable voices, especially within Malayalam cinema. And get this, she won 4 National Film Awards and an astounding 33 State Film Awards. Talk about unparalleled mastery. It's a profound moment for the entire nation to pause, reflect, and actively preserve the memory of an absolute cultural icon. And while we honor legends of the past, there is also active, vital work being done right now to preserve the living artisans of today. Just look at the details of the 6th Lok Samvardhan Parv, a major 5-day festival recently inaugurated in Dehradun, Uttarakhand, by Union Minister Kiran Rijiju and Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami. What's deeply special about this event is that it's operating under the PMVIKS scheme, and it marks the very first time this flagship festival is partnering directly with the state government. We have 150 highly skilled artisans participating, and crucially, nearly 90 of them are women, showcasing everything from handlooms and traditional crafts to regional cuisines. It's this highly structured, government-backed push to ensure that traditional, handmade livelihoods don't just survive, but actively thrive in a modern economy. All right, on to Section 3, Economy, Health, and Governance, the fast-paced world of modern India. Let's move to and see how this builds into our final segment. Look at this striking juxtaposition. It perfectly captures modern market dynamics in real time. On one side of the equation, we have the National Stock Exchange launching the Nifty 500 Ahimsa Index. This is an innovative, highly specialized financial tool specifically designed to promote ethical, nonviolent investing. It is literally a modern financial instrument deeply rooted in ancient cultural values of nonviolence. But then, on the exact opposite side of the economy, we see the absolute acceleration of daily life with quick commerce hitting strict regulatory checks. Swiggy Instamart recently received 9 distinct notices from the FSSAI regarding food safety and labeling violations. It's this fascinating push and pull, right? A rapidly innovating, high-speed market meeting the strict realities of modern governance. And that strict governance naturally extends deep into everyday civic life, too. Take these 2 rapid updates. The NDMC is currently deploying new high-tech solutions to try and finally combat the frustrating, age-old issue of Delhi rain and waterlogging, literally using modern tech to fight ancient weather patterns. Meanwhile, over in the critical healthcare sector, the National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority, or NPPA, has just stepped in to firmly fix the retail prices for 39 new drug formulations. So whether it's managing complex urban infrastructure during intense monsoons, or heavily regulating the sheer affordability of crucial, life-saving medicines, the administrative wheels of the country are constantly, endlessly turning to manage the needs of a massive population. So, when you step back and really look at these 48 hours all together, it's quite an incredible picture, isn't it? We have a massive nation perfectly capable of filing 17 million tax returns in a digital rush, yet actively choosing to hit the brakes on a 2,000-megawatt power plant just to save a species of monkey in the Western Ghats. We pause to deeply mourn the loss of a singer who recorded 48,000 songs while simultaneously regulating the absolute cutting edge of rapid grocery delivery and high-tech urban water management. So I leave you with this final thought to ponder as we wrap up. From protecting ancient macaque sanctuaries to launching entirely new ethical stock indices, how do we perfectly balance our past with our future? It's the ultimate defining challenge for any developing nation, and as we've clearly seen today, it is a delicate balance being actively negotiated every single day. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring.